Yeah, Mr. Taylor, Mark Taylor, was pretending to run for president. That was funny. And the teens were just like Men in Black. And one of the teens was pretending to be someone sneaking in, and then they have to act like they're arresting him and taking him out the door, holding his hand, like handcuffing him. They were being like security guards. That was a real funny skit. Patty was like the president's wife, and she hits the podium. You can vote for Mark and put that in the mark. Vote for Mark. And Mark Taylor was throwing candy canes everywhere, and the teens are getting them left and right. And Banty just showed me he got some candy, and Patty was throwing Hershey's Kisses and stuff, and Lance was getting them left and right, and and the other team was holding up a sign that's blue and white, and it says Mark Taylor for governor. And I was like, how did they get that made? Anyway, and then, because it looked legit, and he kept holding the sign back and forth, and Mark Taylor was saying, and if I become president, I'm reading my lips, no more taxes. I'm thinking he got that from George W. Bush. Not George W. He got that from George Bush. And he promised to put God back into the White House. And we said, amen. And then he promised to put elevators in churches, and Pastor Cole stood up to clap. That was good, man. I was just cracking up. He says, I'm going to make that a promise. And Pastor Asher was like, okay, we'll work with that. And there was some other funny lines. And then Pastor Asher is like, okay, yeah, all seriousness aside, how do we get back to normal here? And then as we're laughing, and then he said, we're going to show you a clip to show you how God is slowly being taken out of the White House. I was shocked. I was like, what? They're taking God out of it? First they try to track God, and God we trust off a coin. You know, we know God's right around the corner. As Pastor Asher said, 2019 or 2020, God could come any day. And then we showed an hour film how much volumes, 30 volumes, and other court things where George Washington and others wrote Bible verses just because they were born-again Christians. And even George Washington was protected by God through war. He had bullet holes in his coat, bullet shells he left over his hair, but he was perfectly fine. And the Indian was making sure to aim his gun that never misses. He shot many a time, and the bullets didn't hit him. And he says after the war he wanted to shake George Washington's hand for the person that God protected him. Capital G-O-D. And Pastor Asher said, raise your hand if there's some things that you didn't know about. We all raised our hand. And he said, I'm raising my hand included. And then we had the Lord's Supper. And before that, around 5 or so, we got here early, and we had fellowship by talking and eating food and dessert. Some had coffee. They had unsweetened and sweetened tea, and they had a lot of our dessert. They had sushi, and they had cornbread and corn and tuna in a casserole, I mean in a croissant roll that has purple grapes cut in half in it, so it's like a fruit tuna salad on a crescent roll idea. And I was able to do some magic tricks where I was sitting. Glenn and his wife and their friends that they brought, or relatives, the two girls, and I was entertaining them doing the rubber band, sleight of hand, crazy man's handcuff, slidini, Copperfield style, and the way that I came across it by playing back the VCR tape. I said he did it on the Great Wall of China and Imploding Building Special, and I did the pin through the quarter. I said he did it on the Great Wall of China. I forgot that he also did it even earlier than that. But anyway, I said he used a round chopstick, I'm using a round pin. They go, what? How'd you do that? And I did my version of Monte trick, 3-card Monte, where at the end they become color Monte, and then they're all back to normal. They were like, what? I said, you just helped me came across this idea using the flood station count. And I used a big white styrofoam cup, plus as the Statue of Liberty on the New York Harbor idea, and used the round plate as a gigantic motorized Lazy Susan. And I said, picture there's 2 towers of General Electric lights that are aimed at the audience to dilate the eyes and night blind the audience for a few minutes. And when they put the white sheet up and the Pan Am helicopters behind it, they slowly turn towards the right. And then they drop the seat. Now the statue's gone, because now you're looking at a duplicate ring of lights, and the fog machine or smoke machine and the searchlights are aimed directly over that way, and a Pan Am helicopter was following the movement of the turntable to the new location. And the original Statue of Liberty, the lights around it are turned off, and they do put black purple lights in the crown. Dead black against dead black is absent of shadow. And the ladies were there for the Polaroid cameras, taking pictures of the statue before and after, to have the right shutter for now, not to show a now darkened statue. And I explained to Dave about that too, because he wasn't there for the food and all that. He just came in there for the service. And they live streamed it at 7 p.m. or around about 7 p.m. And I went in detail for the Great Wall of China. Anyway, I said in reverse the process and dropped the seat. Now the statue's back. And I said I noticed, and another guy also noticed what I noticed, that the radar, the black rim, the journalistic lights are aimed, the lights are reflecting on there, so when you can see like a sundial effect, that it moving towards the right. And then when he's talking about freedom as a true magic, it's beyond any magician. The turntable, you can see the sundial moving in the other direction, back to where it was, and drop the seat. Now the statue's there. You drop the white sheet. And then I went in detail about the Great Wall of China, that Christopher Hart, illusionist, even on his website said that he doubles in Copperfield's illusions, including the Great Wall of China, the first part. So if you know that much, then Copperfield went inside there, went into the base, into the hollow stairs, and then Christopher Hart takes his place in Shadow Wise's to pretend to go through the first part of the wall, and then he goes into the base of the platform. But by that time, they've already wheeled the stairs away for Copperfield either get out of those stairs and dress up like one of the crew guys in white outfit and get into a duplicate stairs, or use the same stairs and pull those stairs up to the new base that's the same setup on that side. And for time misdirection, isolation, Ventus perspective view, his crew puts a white spandex sheet at the wall, and there's fake hands on the top on each side, so you think that's each one of the crew's hands, so that way they can have their hand, one of their hands free. One pushes the fake two hands into the spandex, and as the other one pushes the mold mask of Copperfield, and they sinks back into the wall, like Copperfield's having trouble getting through the second part of the wall. Then they drop the sheet and listen to the wall. That's called time misdirection. Then they roll down the roller shades, and they close it up real good, and then they go down the stairs. Copperfield gets out of the stairs, watches the angle of the light, and he makes a good impression of pretending to come through the second part of the Great Wall of China on the other side, and then pull the sheet away. There he is. He walked through the Great Wall of China. I told Emmanuel that you guys are like Men in Black, and he said that's what we're going for. And I said to Mr. Taylor, you are quoting George Bush. He said, yep, reading my lips. I said, yeah, you guessed it. That's where I get no more taxes idea. Pastor Asher was saying that that's a real sign that the team was holding up. There is a real Mark Taylor running for governor, but not this Mark Taylor. And we all was cracking up.